this episode, I am going to talk about charging systems, alternators, battery chargers, solar panels. Those are charging systems. All of them are used to keep the charge on the batteries. Yes, you can keep the charge of your batteries fully charged with solar panels. Yeah. The solar panels produce DC current. The positive and the negative goes into the a.c.r, and after the a.c.r into the batteries in order to keep the batteries properly charged. Yes, when you have a solar panel, in between the solar panel and the battery, you have an a.c.r or regulator. Check the chapter 17 of your marine electrical handbook, and the chapter 17 is dedicated to solar panels. I am going to explain in that chapter how the solar panels should be selected and how the solar panels could be configured in series or parallel in order to store us more amps in a short period of time. Yes, you can charge the batteries with solar panels. All of those elements, the solar, the battery charger, the alternator, those elements are sources of DC current, and you can keep the charge of the batteries fully charged with any of those systems or with all of them integrated. How the alternator produce electricity. The alternator produce electricity basically because the magnets, because electromagnetism. And this is the principle to produce electricity. Yes, my friends, inside of the alternator in the first step produce AC current. And after that AC current is rectified into DC. How? With an element called the rectifier or the bridge of diodes. Suppose that you have a piece of rod. Suppose that you have a piece of rod, a piece of iron like this. Remember, iron is the only metal with magnetic properties. You remember the periodic table? Iron have magnetic properties. This is the only metal with those properties. If you have the piece of iron, like the iron that you have on the screen, and you can cover the middle of the iron with a plastic or isolator material, and after that you wrap it a coil over the plastic. Then we are going to connect one end of the coil to the negative of a battery and the other end of the coil to the positive of the battery, interrupted by a switch, interrupter or switch. Okay, right now when I close the switch, when I turn on the switch, when I close the contact on the switch, immediately the current passes through the coil, and for induction, for electromagnetic induction, the current separates the positive charge in one side and the negative charge in the other side. Right now you have in this example a concentration of positive charge in one side and a concentration of negative charge in the other side. Alright, right now the piece of iron, the rod of iron, is electromagnet with the positive charge in one side and the negative charge in the other side. Suppose that I wanted to install a washer, I want to weld one washer in each side of the piece of rod. I wanted to weld one washer, big washer, metallic washers in iron in each side, one in the positive side and other one in the negative side. But before I install those washers, or I welded those washers in each end of the rod, I am going to cut it each washer in this way, exactly in this way, with those bits, with those sections. And right now those washers are welded in the rod. Okay, now I am going to bend the washers. I am going to bend the washers, and the final product is like this. like the picture that you have on the screen. Oh, remember, don't forget, the coil right now is inside of the bended washers. The coil right now, the final product is this: positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, and the coil is located inside of the bended washer. When the alternator is spinning, the slip rings are in permanent contact with the pieces of carbon or brushes, like the brushes that you have on the screen right now. Those brushes are connected in permanent contact with the slip rings, and those brushes, one brush is connected to the negative side of the battery, and the other brush is connected with the positive source of power, normally from the ignition switch. The power coming in the positive side of the slip rings is coming from the ignition switch. In other words, when you activate the ignition switch in ignition position, the power enter in the positive brush and enter in the coil, power the coil, and return to the negative brush into the negative of the battery. Suppose right now that I locate around the rotor one coil like this. One coil like this. Look, the copper enter here, goes over there, and finish here. This is the beginning and this is the end. The middle one is connected with the frame, the iron in the center. The middle one is connected with the frame. Oh, the coil never touch the frame in iron because it's separated for isolator materials. Suppose that you have this coil around the rotor. In other words, the rotor is spinning and the stator is fixed. What happened when the rotor is spinning at high speed? When the rotor is spinning at high speed, you remember in physics the centrifugal force. For centrifugal force, some electrons jumped into the coil. Immediately the electrons, the positive charge, negative charge, and the positive charge jumped into the coil. You register a sine wave: positive charge and negative charge, positive charge and negative charge. This electricity produces for the rotor spinning in front of the coil, or your hand in front of the coil, is AC current. Yes, my friend, right now you discover how to produce AC current. And where is located the rotor? The rotor of the alternator have a pulley, like the pulley that you have on the screen, and the pulley is connected with the crankshaft of the engine by means of a valve. The pulley of the alternator is connected with the pulley of the crankshaft with a valve. Yeah, when you accelerate the engine more or less, you produce more or higher or lower voltage. Okay, this is the voltage produced here. Oh, but the high or low voltage depends on the acceleration of the engine. How can I stabilize that voltage in order to keep a constant voltage? With the voltage regulator. For that reason, those ends, positive, hot, neutral, and ground in the middle, are connected to the voltage regulator. How I know if my alternator is working or not working? In a simple way. For example, in your car, how can you check if the alternator is working? It's simple. You check the voltage of the battery directly on the battery with the multimeter selected in volts DC. Alright, you check the voltage and you register 13.2. Okay, right now, other person start the engine and you continue with the multimeter connected in the positive and negative terminal of the battery. If the voltage increase and pass 13.5, 13.7, 14.1, is because the alternator is running. If when you start the engine, the voltage stay the same or decrease a little, it's because the alternator is not working. It's pretty simple. Alright, suppose that the alternator is producing excessive voltage. Normally, the output of the alternator in typical conditions should be in between 13.7 volts and 14.1 volts DC for a 12 volts alternators. There are alternators for 24 volts, and the output is around in between 20.7 and 26.4, something like this. All right, but in 12 volts, the output should be in between 13.6 and 14.1, 14.2 volts DC. Suppose that the alternator is producing excessive voltage. It's not producing 14.2, it's producing 16 volts. What is the consequence? If you don't have a.c.r, if you connect the output of the alternator directly into the positive of the battery, probably the batteries are overcharged. What is the symptom when the battery is overcharged? The battery is too hot and the electrolyte is evaporated, and you need to recover frequently the level of the electrolyte in the battery. This is the consequence when the alternator is producing excessive charge. Alright, in that case, if the alternator is producing excessive charge, normally it's because the voltage regulator is working improperly, not regulate, and the voltage goes up. This is a typical consequence of a bad voltage regulator.